I couldn't agree with you more, and I feel one of the main issues that Tigerclaw seems to be facing is the fact that Xeon is insanely good against Protoss.
Yes.
We saw him use the same build time and time again and fall apart when he had to use something different against Zerg. But against Protoss, he has a much better flow where he can seemingly just do a style that's laid back, and then it just explodes out into that aggression with very good micro. And
I would I would say that if I his micro of course in this matchup is very good. I mean the correct splitting of units against the AoE.
yeah,
I have not seen him dodge storms. I would like to see that.
I would like to
Uh,
see Tigerclaw get his Storm Tech up at a decent time in this
yeah.
game.
Exactly. But I think the difference between Xeon's TVZ matchups and TVP matchups is, I think, uh, in the way he like in the Protoss matchups, I feel like he has a better feel for the flow of the game.
Yeah,
In the Zerg matchups, whenever the Zerg started doing something he did not experience a lot before, or he's not used to, or something, you know, like Fluttershy tries, he just goes and improvises on his opponent. He just didn't know exactly
yeah.
what to do, when to do. But against Protoss, he's got a very good feel of, so the Protoss is actually in this state or in that state right now. So I can do this or I can do that. But in Zerg he was kind of lost a little bit more.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more on that analysis there, BelleNOiR.
And it's the same for Tigerclaw. I think he has a very good feel for the TVZ matchup,
Yeah.
but not so much for TVP because he's constantly, time and time again, at least in these first two games, he is constantly missing his timings for important things.
And
He
there's just a
wanted
little
him
bit
to
of
lower the
OCD
default.
for Tigerclaw. Wants to see his opponent having some consistency in the games. And
Yeah.
Tigerclaw going for that fast second assimilator again. The style that he did in the first game, the parting mass gateway, is still very strong on this map, even more so than on most others, because you're already up on level ground with your opponent, so you can see things from further away. And it's going to take a lot of effort to defend against something like that for Xeon, if that is what is coming out from his opponent. And there's the sentries, once the sentries start coming up. But Xeon is responding perfectly here. He's getting an engineering bay down, so that will delay his opponent's expansion. And Tigerclaw's only just now getting a pylon.
Yeah. So Tigerclaw will be a little bit delayed by this, not by a whole lot, mind you, because look, if you look at his minerals, he still doesn't have enough minerals for the Nexus. Now, if he
No, he dumped those
didn't,
minerals into gateways.
yeah, he did, but he pretty much had to look at the timing of the
Yeah.
gateway research. If you want those gateways to line up with the finishing of the gateway research, you have to throw them down at exactly the time he did. And if you're going to do a gateway push, it doesn't really matter if you get your Nexus before or after. It's actually sometimes more beneficial to get it after the gates. So that way you have more sentries earlier, and they can start gathering up energy with those force fields and for those guardian shields, because they are pivotal in breaking any kind of bunker defense. Now here we have a scouting probe that is being spotted by Tigerclaw because he's holding the tower right now.
Yeah, it's just
And
rallied around
that-
to check for a third base.
Yeah. We have a factory going down, add-ons going down for Xeon, the same exact build he used in the previous game. Most Terrans get 3 barracks after that gas loss expand. We see Xeon getting only 2 barracks, similar to what Thorzane has been doing for a long time versus Protoss. Only gets 2 barracks for 2 upgrades, or 1 upgrades, does a push, retreats, while his additional barracks are building. Is very smart.
Indeed, and if you can hold the line with 2 barracks, the less infrastructure you need to win a game, the better. And that is
Yeah,
one of
and
the primary rules you'd start to learn with StarCraft 2.
Yeah, definitely, that is very true. Being efficient, that is all that matters. And of course, you know, because you only get 2 barracks, but the same number of gases, as you would with 3 barracks play. You get the factory sooner, just by a couple tens of seconds. Therefore, the starport is sooner, and therefore the medevacs are a little bit sooner. And if the Protoss is counting on the meta game, that, oh yeah, the push comes at around this and this time, and the medevacs will not be out before 9:40, well, then he's in for a surprise, because the drop will come a little bit sooner. It's very, very effective versus fast Colossi plays.
Indeed, so this push is coming up. He's going to start the warping of Zealots now, and then he's going to want to go and be aggressive with this attack. Tigerclaw needs to do some sort of damage with this very early on, and only 2 Zealots warping in for now. He doesn't quite have the money to support what he needs.
Well, he quite doesn't, and the Marine spots the 1 Stalker, so he's going to send a Marauder after it. The Marauder does not have concussive shells right now, but this is what I talked about previously. We have 30 seconds until stim completes. That's the half minute I talked about before that Tigerclaw has to break this, kill the expansion or deny it, and retreat, and he of course has to start transitioning immediately.
Tigerclaw should have had this attack hitting here much sooner. That's one of the fundamental flaws at the moment. His opponent did manage to delay hit, and the fact that Tigerclaw was supply blocked in the early game. And now this is just going to keep being a relentless assault from Tigerclaw, and it's going to be interesting to see how long MFCeon can hold out. The longer he holds out, the stronger his defense is going to be.
And there the stim finishes. Tigerclaw goes for a second round. He does have enough energy for a Guardian Shield, but decides not to use it. Waits for another warp-in of Zealots. That is a lot of Zealots. He could actually break through this with this many units, but he's just being too cautious. Now, in the meantime, I have to say that stim finished. First, medevacs are going to be out. This is his last effort. If he does not break MFCeon now, he will never break him.
Absolutely, and the barracks are churning out units at a slow pace. There's not enough as required. And these force fields slightly too coverage. And MFCeon
those
picks
force
up
fields
very well there.
Those force fields were actually totally terrible, because with this many Zealots, you don't want completely blocking off the bunker.
Back behind the force fields, back up onto the high ground. Oh, and he picks them up into a medevac that dies straight
and
away.
gets sniped immediately. That was so lucky for Tigerclaw. So in the end, he will deny this expansion. Oh, he's even getting the Zealots to the high ground. He will prevent this orbital from landing and creating a choke. And I think he might even take this game. He was not afraid in the end to go for it. He found the courage somehow, and he's just demolishing this, but his army is thinning. Let's see the unit count: 6 Zealots, 6 sentries, 7 Stalkers. And those sentries still have energy for force fields. Oh my god, this is looking very bad. There's